Alrighty guys, what's going on everybody? Welcome back here to another live stream, my friends. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Friday evening. It is good to have you guys here back for another update here on basically everything that's going on here in the weather world. But what's up everybody? Hope everyone's doing well. Let's see who we got here today so far. We have Tabletop. What's up Tabletop? Hopefully you're doing well. What's up Tempest? Hopefully 7 Impest. I forgot how you say your name. I think it's Tempest, right? Saying, boy, Andrew, I don't know where that shower came from in South Lakeland, but it was really heavy. Yeah, I got a little bit of rain from it. I didn't get a whole lot about it, or whole lot of it. Anyways, what's up, MD? Welcome. Saying hi, Andrew. How are you today? I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully, you're doing good yourself. It's good to have you here. What's up, Renita? Welcome. But what's up, everybody? Hope everyone's doing well here this evening. What's up, Tom? Welcome, welcome. So we have a little bit of activity we need to talk about here. So we might have some new activity popping up here in the tropics that we do need to keep an eye out there for. I did make a video earlier, both a YouTube short and a normal video, kind of going over everything here. But it looks like we're going to start to have maybe a little bit of activity here popping off here. Here in the Atlantic. I would not be surprised if we did get a new area of potential development here soon from the Hurricane Center. As of now, we do not have anything here in the MDR currently. We do have 2 areas here in the Eastern Pacific. Actually a new area here that's already now at 40%. That's actually gone up quite a little bit here. Let's see. What's up, Roadster? Saying hi, Andrew, in chat. What's up, my friend? Hopefully you're doing good, Roadster. It's good to have you here. It is Tempest. Okay, cool. I'll try to remember that. Once again, I'm not the best at remembering things, so I'll try my best. Let's see. MD says, doing well, cooking and watching the stream again. Hey, well, there you go. There you go. But yeah, currently right now, the Hurricane Center doesn't have anything on this system here. I'm going to bring you guys over to models because that's, kind of what I really wanted to talk about mostly tonight. Looking at the new GFS here, we do kind of have a wave that's going to be rolling off the west coast here of Africa. As you can kind of see, and potentially rolling its way here into the MDR, which, the latest run doesn't really have a whole lot happening with it, but, maybe a short-lived depression or whatnot. Obviously I don't like to look too far down in time. But this is about 150 or so hours out once it kind of goes into the MDR here. It actually rolls off of Africa here within the next 80 hours or so. This will be right around the 28th, so it's not really that far out. I did not mean to grab that. But yeah, so a little bit of development here, could be quite possible. The previous run of the GFS model had it actually being a little bit more different. Let's go down to the 12 UTC run here. The previous run to that actually had maybe a little bit more potent, but there has been a little bit of support in it here overall. Let's see. What's up, Cheryl? Hopefully you're doing good. Saying the golf is becoming active. How is everyone doing? Doing pretty well. We still do have that one system here in the golf that we're looking out for, but yeah, this system's not going to do anything. We are now at a 0% chance of formation. This thing's not going to be any type of depression or any tropical storm or hurricane, so that's certainly good. But honestly, no, the Gulf is actually calming down a little bit here. There really isn't a whole lot more with this system. You can see we do have a little bit of convection out here in like eastern Texas overall. A little bit of activity popping through. But yeah, they're going to remove that disturbance risk here very soon, as this thing is now moving kind of inland. But yeah, back over to models though. Like I mentioned here, I mean, we do have a little bit of potential development here according to the GFS, as we do have that wave that rolls off the west coast here of Africa. And does eventually continue moving westward here. Now, it's obviously good to look at different models. You should never just focus on one in particular model. You never should just focus everything on one model. But looking over here at Euro, we do have a little bit of agreement here also with the European model. This is the 18 UTC run here. You can see that disturbance as it works its way off of Africa here. I mean, this could be right around the 29th and 30th, like once it goes past the Cabo Verde Islands here, and once it kind of, continues moving to the west here overall. Now, the previous run before that, the Euro here, really didn't show a whole lot happening with it, but still shows that that wave, going off of Africa here into, the main development region here. So, there is definitely a little bit of agreement here with both the, the Euro and the GFS model here. Let's see here. Tempest says that new wave is coming off Africa, very strong for July. Yeah, and you got to think we are still kind of in our latter portion yet, our latter, I can't even English, our latter portion here, which, basically we really haven't hit our main development here. I've actually been, bringing this up here in the last several streams, and I'll even do it again here for you. But yeah, looking at the hurricane activity chart here, a lot of the peak of hurricane season still hasn't occurred yet. I mean, we still have, a little bit to go before we reach peak here. Let's go ahead and bring y'all over to this here. So we'll go ahead and zoom out a bit. So right now we're kind of, stretching to the end of July, which would put us right about here. And you can see that we're still just, just before the main ladder portion. The main ladder portion starts to really come into play here for August. Once we go into August, that's when we're going to really start to climb this ladder. And we're not going to peak out until the second week of September. Once we reach right around September 10th, that's on average, the peak of hurricane season. And then, of course, we'll be kind of, going back down from there on. But like I said, I just really want to remind you guys is that we are still early. We are still just before the main ladder part. So we really haven't seen any crazy activity. So, it is still a little bit early for, all the peak and stuff. But anyways, regardless, but like I said, the Euro also picks up on this wave that does roll off the west coast of Africa here, so we're going to keep an eye out there for that. Looking at the CMC model here, CMC doesn't really have a whole lot with this system. It does show that that group of disorganized thunderstorms rolling over the waters here, and eventually going into the main development region here, but doesn't really have a whole lot of development out of it here. And then lastly, in terms of the icon model, the icon possibly shows maybe a short-lived depression here, but that's kind of what we're mostly dealing with here as of now. It's certainly an area that we do need to watch, and we're still getting some early views of it. But we're definitely gonna be monitoring this here over the next couple of days here. This could have a shot to maybe do something here down in time. So we're definitely gonna have to keep an eye out there for it. Let's see here. What's up, Michael? Saying hi, everyone. What's up, my friend? Hopefully you're doing good. Roadster says still early in the Atlantic hurricane season. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we still, like I said, we really still haven't even climbed the main ladder yet. We're getting to it, though. We're definitely getting to it here. Once we go into August, that's when things will likely start picking up here overall. Let's see here. Michael says, looks like there might be one forming in the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, there is actually a new area that we're watching here. The Hurricane Center, they did put a area here just to the west of Mexico, just west of Central America. This is a new system here that we're going to keep it out there for. Overall formation, 40% in the next 7 days. So the next week, we have a 40% chance of development here. We're not expecting any development here in the next 2 days or 48 hours. So you can see that's at a 0% chance. But, over the next 7 days, we do have a 40%. Now, that was actually just a 30% here during the last update. So they did manage to update this here overall. And then, of course, we do have another system here just southeast of Hawaii that we're going to have to look here into. We do have this other system. This one actually has a decent shot at development here. We have an overall 60% chance probability here of development here. And then throughout the next 48 hours, we have a overall 50% chance here overall. Let's see. What's up, Westons? Hopefully you're doing good, my friend. Weston says, I've been around for a little bit and looked up to you. Finally got one case of. Nice, man. Well, congrats. That's awesome, dude. But anyways, so that's that. Once again, the Hurricane Center does not have anything, any disturbance area here as of yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do add that here soon. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But once again, that disturbance that we were watching here in the Gulf, they basically remove the potential of this thing developing here. I didn't really expect much out of it. I really didn't expect it to develop. I mean, it didn't go any higher than 10% its entire duration. I think it might have went 20% for a little bit, but then quickly went back down to 10%. So, yeah, like I said, that one's not going to really do anything. But we do have a little bit of thunderstorm activity here, though, from this system here. Just driving a little bit of potential for flooding and stuff like that. Looking at the excessive rainfall today, we do have a little bit of a flooding risk out here by Texas and Louisiana, a little bit of Mississippi here as well overall. Let's see here. Michael says, the one forming off the coast of Hawaii, wonder what would happen if the eye made landfall over the volcano eruption. Well, I don't think this is going to be any big concern for Hawaii here. Let's go take a look at the models here on that system here. Let's see what we got going on. We're gonna have to go into Central Pacific for this view because this one's actually pretty far to the west here. So there's the system. Look at the icon model. Mostly has that system remaining just under Hawaii, as you can kind of see. Has it just passing to the south right around the 30th, but according to this model, it doesn't look like it gets anything more than maybe a depression or maybe a weak tropical storm, but we'll see what happens with it, of course. But yeah, probability has increased on potential development here. GFS, GFS really doesn't have anything major either with the system here just south of Hawaii. Once again, maybe a short-lived depression, maybe a weak tropical storm, but yeah, it doesn't really have anything, super, super crazy. Euro here, the ECMWF, kind of on the same boat here as the other models. So we'll have to see what happens. Also, we'll look at the icon real quickly since we're already on it. But yeah, really no difference here. Maybe a possible depression, maybe a tropical storm here and everything. But anyways. So that is that. Let's go ahead and hop you guys back over here. We're going to talk a little bit about severe weather here coming up. Let's bring you guys over here to today's risk. So we still do have a slight risk here. This is the latest convective outlook that we do have here for today. But yeah, currently right now we do have a level 2 threat out here. Let's go ahead and actually bring you guys over here. So we have a level 2 slight risk here for the rest of tonight. Up here across North Dakota overall, this is going to be a potential for a couple of strong to severe storms here overall. We do have the level 1 risk that does extend down into like western Nebraska. We got the level 1 risk here extending through the Central Plains, through the Midwest into the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic here. Now, tornado-wise tonight, we do have 2 areas here. We did have a 5% chance for tornadoes earlier today for eastern Kansas. They actually removed that 5% risk here now, but we still do have a 2% risk overall for tornadic activity here, including the Topeka area here. We also do have Kansas City here as well in that 2% chance for tornadoes overall. So, an isolated tornado or two, cannot be ruled out here across the region. And of course, up to the north here, we also do have a 2% chance overall as well. Up across North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota here overall. So another 2% risk overall there. Now, wind threat, we still do have that 15% risk here tonight. Actually, we're going to take a peek at the radar here and see what's going on. It does look like we have a little bit of storm activity here in western North Dakota. We're going to activate the warnings and stuff, and it looks like we do have a severe warning out there by Bowman, extreme southwestern North Dakota here. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch out here as well there overall. In which, this is here for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here and quarter-size hail, and that severe warning up by Bowman. So, anyways, but yeah, so that's that. We're going to discontinue, or we're going to get rid of those warnings there and stuff. But then we work our way over here into the hail risk. They actually, I believe they upgraded this. I don't think this was a 15 earlier. I think it was just a 5. But they actually upgraded to a 15% risk here overall for North Dakota. So we're gonna definitely we're gonna definitely need to keep an eye out there for that here tonight. Now, if I'm up still, and if severe weather does get pretty crazy overnight, I might do a little bit of coverage. I'm not gonna promise anything, but we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, we do have ourselves that level 2 there today. But like I mentioned, it's not going to be anything super crazy, tornado-wise. And, we could have some potential gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour, maybe some hail between 1 and 2 inches in diameter here. But that's really that. Now, tomorrow we do have 2 big marginal level 1 severe weather threats here, as we do have ourselves one of the risks out there for areas like Idaho, going through Montana, a little bit of Wyoming, South Dakota, portions out there by Nebraska, northeastern Colorado, Minnesota, and then we have that second risk out here by like the Midwest, including like Iowa, a little bit of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, southern Michigan, Ohio, cutting into the Mid-Atlantic out by Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Virginia here, Maryland, of course, and we have Delaware here included as well. It is a level 1 threat here for tomorrow. We do have a little tornado risk here for northwestern Minnesota tomorrow, as well as northeastern North Dakota here overall. So we're going to have to keep an eye out there for that. Maybe an isolated tornado or two could potentially develop out of that. And then, of course, in terms of damaging winds, we just have 2 5% chance areas here for the potential of some gusts, maybe upwards of 60 miles an hour or so. And then lastly, we do have 2 little hail risk areas here for potential hail between 1 and 2 inches in diameter. What's up, Calvin? Welcome. Hopefully you're doing good, my friend. It is good to see you here. Hopefully you're doing well. And then, of course, we work our way over here into Thursday, or why am I saying Thursday? Day 3. We're well past Thursday. Hold on a minute. So this is going to be for, given it's today's Friday, so today's day 1. Day 2 would be Saturday, so this would be Sunday. We do have a risk out here for Sunday towards the Mid-Atlantic as well as the upper Midwest here overall with another marginal. But, as you guys know, they do not do any breakdowns, tornado, damaging winds or hail-wise, in terms of probability, they don't have that, available for day 3, essentially. Could tomorrow get a 5%? I don't know, to be honest with you. We'll have to, I'll actually pull up the models. I was planning on doing that here. Let's bring you guys over here to the models and stuff, which we'll look at now. But as of now, they have it at 2%, so we're probably just gonna stick on it there for now. But let's bring you guys over here to the models here. So we do have the 0 UTC run here. So obviously tonight we do have a couple of storms across like North Dakota with that slight risk we still have. Then we work our way into tomorrow. We definitely could have quite a few more storms rolling through the region here throughout the morning. We kind of have a little bit of a line rolling through here tomorrow. And then once we break our way into the afternoon and evening, a couple of more scattered, relatively isolated storms will be possible. I don't think they'll pull a 5%, to be honest with you. I mean, it seems like the coverage of these storms is very isolated, very discreet, to be honest with you. It doesn't really look like there's a whole lot of cells developing out here. But looking at the, some of the ingredients here, like the lower level wind shear, I mean, we do have, throughout the afternoon and evening, a little bit of a lower level jet of about 20 knots. I don't think they're going to upgrade to a 5%, honestly. I really don't. Let's see here. Calvin says the storm in Houston was intense, numerous lightning strikes. Yeah, that was actually associated with that disturbance that we were watching out there. Thankfully, like I said, that thing did not develop here. They do have a 0% chance now of overall development here, so that's the last update they're going to pull on that. But like I said, we need to start paying attention to the eastern Atlantic here. Out there by the MDR, we do have that wave that's going to be rolling through, and we're going to have to see. What happens here with it. Here, let's bring you guys over to the ECENS ensembles here. I want to kind of talk about those with you guys here too. So, these are basically a bunch of model members here, different little individual runs, and you can see that wave. Once we start tracking our way here to the west here. This is right around the 31st. Now going into the 1st, you can see that wave could eventually end up out there by the Antilles, maybe the Windward Islands out here. So we're gonna have to look out for that. Like I said, though, that is here for the 2nd, in which that is quite a few days away, of course. So there is going to be a good possibility that things are going to be changing between now and then, of course. But according to the latest run here of the ECENS, you can see that we might have that system working its way over here by the Antilles and maybe up there by the Caribbean, which we'll have to just kind of see how that plays out essentially. Now looking at the GEFS ensembles here. Looking at the GEFS, you can actually see that this one has it going a little bit further south. Not as many members either as not as many members as the ECENS did. You can see that most of those are a lot further south. So, obviously, it's way too early to tell, if this thing's going to really materialize completely, or if it's, or even where it's going to go, once it goes through these regions. But, like I mentioned, as time goes on, we're going to start gathering some more information on it, and we'll see if it's going to be a big storm or not. Like I mentioned, this thing could be a dud. It could be a storm to look out for, like I said, we are definitely getting those signals overall here, just like what, the GFS, the ICON, the Euro, the ECMWF, and the CMC model was talking about here, with that wave that does roll through. So, like I mentioned, you can see that wave here, according to the GFS, this is going to be rolling westward here, up until... or really throughout, the next several days here. It looks like it's going to be exiting off of Africa's coast here right around the 28th or so. So that's about 2-3 days out or so, and continually working its way here to the west. Michael coming in with a $5 super chat, dude. Thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate that. Saying, just curious to know the risk of fire weather for the zip code, by the way, by a big red on me. I appreciate it, dude. Michael, you're awesome, dude. I really appreciate your support. But yeah, I got you, man. Here, let's see what we got going on. Actually, to be honest, Michael, I'm probably going to put that towards new glasses fund because my glasses broke. So that's probably what I'm going to do with that. These still kind of work. So that $5 will go to a new pair of glasses. I appreciate it. Anyways, but yeah, let's take a peek at the fire weather here. Out here by Colorado. So you're out here by Denver area, okay? So we do have a little bit of red flag warnings to your west. This does not include the Denver area here. I do want to bring up the Storm Prediction Center here because, looking at their overall fire weather outlook here. Tomorrow here for Saturday, we do have an elevated risk for fire weather along western Colorado here. As well as like southern portions of Utah, like upper portions of Arizona, eastern Nevada, and a little bit of Wyoming here too. We do have an elevated risk here, but that's really all that we have. We have nothing in the the days 3 to 8. So it looks pretty good here, at least for those days. But tomorrow we do have a little bit of an elevated risk here. Once again, we do have red flag warnings here for western Colorado, but this does not include the Denver area here. And by the way, for the people who don't know what red flag warnings are, they are basically saying that the conditions are, there for fire weather, potential for wildfires and stuff, in which, that's because of low relative humidity, as well as, some gusty winds and stuff, will contribute to the potential for fire weather and stuff. So there is that. Let's see here. Wildfire smoke from northern Arizona will continue to bring significant near-surface smoke to portions of Grand Staircase, Glen Canyon National Recreation Area. So it looks like we are actually seeing a bit of fires out there. So definitely need to look out there for that. Let's see here. Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate it, dude. If you want me to look at anything else, please let me know. Holy moly, Andrew needs new glasses. Yeah, you ain't kidding. Yeah, these things they're a little cooked. They're just a little bit fried. I love my aviator stuff, but I think I got these in a 2-pack on Amazon for like $20 or something. I think it was $20. It's been a minute since I bought them. They're pretty good. They're pretty good, and it comes in that 2-pack, which is pretty nice. But anyways, but yeah, so that's that, and like I said, once again, we do need to just keep an eye on the tropics here in the east, the Eastern Pacific. Let's actually work our way over to the models here. Let's actually look at that real quickly. So let me bring y'all's over here to the models. So, working our way down here in time, looking at the GFS here, you can see, that we do have that. Wow. That GFS has like rapid intensification going on there with that system. You see that? That's not far out either. That wave goes into the Eastern Pacific right around the 28th, which is kind of the same time that other wave goes off the west coast of Africa. But 29th, 30th, and yeah, going into the 31st and whatnot, that thing picks up some strength according to the latest GFS. But that could just be, GFS being GFS, essentially. Looking at the ECMWF here at the Euro. Euro obviously is not as aggressive as you can tell. Euro is definitely pretty tame, overall as compared to what the GFS. GFS was going pretty nuts here. Dude, no way, man. Roadster with the $20 super chat, dude. Thank you so much. Saying new glasses fun. Well, there you go, man. I can get me some new glasses now. I appreciate that. Roadster, dude, what am I going to do with you, man? I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Roadster. You really didn't have to do that, man. That's really, really sweet of you, dude. I really appreciate it. Y'all in chat, please give Roadster a big thank you. Same thing for Michael as well for the support. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Roadster, thank you for that. That's really nice of you, my friend. Big thanks. Huge shout out goes out to you, Roadster. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Sharon says, your husband always breaks his. Yeah, I've probably had about 4 pairs of these in my life. They're pretty easy to break, but I don't even know how I broke these ones here, to be honest with you. But anyways, Roadster, thank you so much once again. I really appreciate that. Greatly appreciate it, my friend. But yeah, so like I mentioned, Euro really doesn't show a whole lot with the system. I mean, it shows that that broad low that kind of rolls westward, but really doesn't have anything massive or any major development out of it. Looking at the CMC model here, CMC kind of agrees. Maybe a little bit more of a stronger system here. Kind of agreeing with GFS. Obviously, not as explosive as the GFS was. Is kind of showing here. But it does show maybe some gradual development here as the system works its way to the northwest. And this is kind of right around the turn of the month here between like July 31st and August 1st. So we'll have to see. I mean, obviously, I don't want to look too far, down in time. I don't like to go anything further than like 200 hours out. I mean, even then, I don't like to look that far. But, CMC does show potentially some development there with it. And then lastly, Icon here. It kind of looks like Icon agrees a little bit too. Maybe some gradual development here. Let's go back to the 12 UTC run here. This is the extended run of the Icon model here. Look at that. So Icon also agrees here. So it seems like a good possibility that we might actually have some gradual development here. Let's see here. Try using tack glasses from Walmart. It blocked the radiation. It really radiation? What? Really helps out. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like to wear these glasses for obviously outdoors too, but during streams sometimes because it does help with my eyes. After staring at all these monitors for so many hours, it does get to you a little bit. And sunglasses do help dim it down a little bit for me. Not just a thing to look stylish. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it looks pretty stylish, but just kidding. Anyways, looks like the same spot as the last hurricane by California. Are you talking about the one that hit California? No, that one went a lot further. I think it pulled something similar and kind of went into Southern California. I remember covering that one. When was that? Like 2 years ago? Yeah, and then I think that's because we had that storm, and then I think we had was it Ian? No, Adalia maybe. It was the one that hit the Big Bend of Florida that we covered. I don't remember. I remember. I think it was an I name, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever year that was, yeah, we covered those like back to back. I remember that. Yeah, that was pretty rare. I mean, California rarely gets those tropical systems, so that was certainly kind of uncommon, essentially. Anyways, let me look at the other parameters here. We're going to look at the amount of moisture with this system. So GFS, it doesn't show any problem with moisture. It really looks like, we do. GFS here, the latest run actually has this thing really hugging up against the western coast of Mexico here, as you can see. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That really hugs up pretty close to the coast. Yeah, and it eventually kind of rolls into maybe some cooler waters as well as loses a bit of its moisture there. But it doesn't seem like GFS has that. Let me try Euro here. Let's see what Euro suggests. It doesn't seem like too much of a moisture issue. I mean, even with Euro. Yeah, Euro doesn't have it really fully developing, though, as kind of like the GFS does. I mean, obviously, GFS has this thing kind of exploding in development here. The Euro also has this system going further west. So there's obviously a lot of, uncertainty there. You can't look at that on CMC, unfortunately. Yeah, or Icon. Here, let me pull up wind shear too. We're gonna look at the 200 to 850 millibar wind shear. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like there's hardly any wind shear that's gonna be preventing that storm from happening. We do have that clockwise upper level wind shear that's developed from the storm system, but you can see that massive jet up to the northwest though. But yeah, it doesn't really seem like wind shear would be an issue, at least from this run here of the GFS. Euro, on the other hand, not a whole lot, to be honest with you. That central circulation stays out of most of that wind shear here. Doesn't seem like the wind shear is going to be anything super great. I mean, you can see, right now, kind of where we're at, there's a lot of wind shear out there. We have this jet going over here, pointing at like the southwestern United States here. But that eventually kind of weakens as that new system could potentially develop and move westward. So that is quite interesting. But anyways, hey, let's hop over to back to the eastern Atlantic. Let's go tropical Atlantic. Yeah, because you can see the Lesser Antilles here in the Cape Verde. This is kind of a zoomed in view of the MDR. GFS here. So with that wave that rolls off, you can see right here. Yeah, maybe some development could be possible here. Let's pull moisture here. Let's see if that's going to be a big issue. So there kind of goes all of that. This run of GFS doesn't show a big issue with moisture. I mean, it shows enough moisture still there. It also depends, like how much Saharan dust we have going on too, because Saharan dust is terrible for tropical activity here. It really kind of stunts development. But yeah, GFS here had doesn't really have a big moisture problem. What about wind shear? Oh. It could run into some wind shear later in development here, but that's too far out. Like I said, I don't like to look far at all. Quite interesting. Let me compare that to. Oops. Let me compare that to Euro here. Yeah, there's some upper level clockwise circulation going on out there, though, according to Euro, and we could run into a little bit of wind shear. We'll see what happens. We'll just keep you guys updated on everything. If we start to get some more support with it and everything, we'll let you know. What's up, Cheryl? Hopefully you're doing good, my friend. Michael says 2023. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Let us see on that side. Yeah. Let's see here. Hello from Texas. How are things, says Cheryl? So if you want me to look at Texas, Texas right now seems like y'all are going to be getting some storms over the next couple days here. It's kind of typical Texas. Tomorrow we got a general thunderstorm risk covering pretty much all the entire state, except for like Wichita Falls and Abilene area, but kind of a little donut hole here out by by the Wichita Falls area here, Abilene. Nothing severe though coming up for Texas, which is good. Day 3 Sunday doesn't look like anything either, but still possibly just some normal boom booms possible. Nothing really too crazy. Now flooding wise, we still do have that level 1 flooding threat here. We do have some thunderstorms out here by the Houston area here from that disturbance that we were watching here. And of course that leads through a lot of Louisiana here, southern Mississippi as well. Tomorrow that flooding threat does actually continue for eastern Texas. So pretty much similar areas as it is today, but just a little bit further up north here. And then by the time we reach on Sunday, it seems like a lot of that's going to be kind of going through. We do have some flood advisories in Houston, southeast Texas, including the following area: Harris, and will expire at 5, or sorry, yeah, because that's at 5. Will expire at 9:45 p.m. Central. So that'll be literally 5 minutes from now. Yeah, literally 5 minutes from now. Let's see. Is that from a tropical storm? No. That system, we were watching it for potential development of tropical activity, but it never did. It never developed. The conditions just weren't there for it. But it was a disturbance. So basically it goes disturbance, depression, storm, hurricane. And we were into the disturbance stage before the tropical depression, before the hurricane, or before tropical storm, and before hurricane. So it wasn't any of those. We were just disturbance is an area that we're watching for potential tropical development. It did have a little area, but very low probability, and now it's at 0%. So it's it ain't gonna do nothing. So it did not become a tropical storm, no. Anyways, here let's go ahead and bring you guys. Actually, I want to take a look at the heat problem we still have going on here. So we do have a lot of extreme heat warnings here in effect here for the Carolinas now. Like eastern South Carolina, a lot of central eastern North Carolina, we do have a lot of extreme heat warnings here in effect here. Some of those heat index values could be upwards of 112. Definitely very, very hot out here. We do have a lot of heat advisories kind of here in this brown color here in like southeastern Virginia, going all the way down here into Florida, out there by Orlando and stuff. Let's see here. Michael says, just curious to know if there's any possibility of fire tornadoes in the West Coast or no. Nah, not anytime soon, no. Yeah, like I said, the fire threat we do have is out here by Utah and like western Colorado here currently, but nah, it's just mostly a fire concern due to low relative humidity as well as some gusty winds and stuff going on out here. Let's see. I don't see any hurricanes yet. I need to get my hurricane kit still. Absolutely, yeah. Make sure you guys are prepping for the season. Obviously, like we mentioned here, we're still climbing up the ladder here, and I'll go ahead and bring you guys back over to this here. This is our hurricane activity chart, and right now today's the 25th, right? So we're late July. We're before early August. You can see, so we're right in here, and you can actually see. That we're still kind of at the bottom here. We're not quite into the heavy activity yet. In which, once we go through August, you can see then that's when we're going to really steeply climb. Each day is going to give us a little bit higher and higher up towards the peak. Once we reach second week of September, that's once again when we're at the peak here overall for tropical development here. September is the most active month for hurricanes and tropical cyclones. August is the climb up month, September is the peak month, and then October's the drop down month, essentially. And once we get into November, that's when things start to slow down quite a bit. What's up, Brady? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Good to have you here. Let's see, there's a lot of fires in the west. Yeah, we actually do have a... let's bring you guys back over here. We actually do have an area here in southern Utah with a special weather statement here talking about... heavy smoke could reduce visibilities down to or below 2 miles at times. So definitely is a bit of an issue. Yeah, that's for southern Utah here. We do have a lot of wildfire conditions, red flag warnings all over the place here. Let's see. Make sure you have your hurricane plans in place. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. What's up, Frankie? Good to see you, man. Watching from Live Oak, Florida. Happy Friday, people. You as well, Frankie. It's good to have you here, man. Hopefully you're doing good. Let's see. Got some. Oh, we also do have fire weather watches up in Wyoming too. So South Wyoming here, we do have some fire weather watches. Humidity as low as 8% and gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Yeah, that'll do it. So I would not be surprised if by tomorrow those are probably upgraded to red flag warnings here. So. We shall see. Also, in terms of smoke here, we still do have a lot of Canadian wildfire smoke up towards the Great Lakes area here. These gray polygons that you see for the counties, those are for the wildfire smoke that's kind of going through. Canadian wildfire smoke over northern Wisconsin will overspread the rest of the state today. Winds will begin turning southerly tonight into Saturday, which will point to smoke. Hold on. Oh, at which point the smoke will begin moving back north. It's possible the advisory will need to be extended into Saturday. So yeah, wildfires do seem to be a little bit of a concern, not just out west here, but also up north. Up here in Canada, we do have quite a bit of wildfire activity here. Which let me bring up the SAT real quickly. Let me take a look at the satellite view. We'll see what we've got going on up here. Here, let's move y'all over here to the satellite view. So we got our true color up. We're gonna do a regional view over here towards the Great Lakes area here. Oh, there you go. You can really see a lot of that smoke up there up in Canada here. We work our way down in time here. Yeah. So we're going into the sunset. You can see. Yeah. Look at that. So as the sun goes down, you get more sunlight piercing through the atmosphere. You can see a lot of that smoke there over the Great Lakes. I mean, it's all over the Great Lakes here. Really thick smoke up here in southern Canada popping through. It definitely is kind of a big concern. Yeah, you can kind of see that northerly movement they were talking about. Look at those lower level clouds here. You see them, how they're going north. So this is in motion here. You can see those are going north. Yep, so that wind direction changing, that'll pull some of it back up north. Is there wildfires going on in Colorado? So we do have red flag warnings out here in Colorado. I don't know specifically if there's any in Colorado, but the conditions are there for it, yes. Oh, yeah. No, there is. We do. Yeah, I mean, just looking at satellite imagery, you can see that right there. Yep, we do got some fires out here. Oh, yeah, look right there. See those two little areas there? So watch that whenever I play it in motion. You can see that going down in time here. So we have a fire over there. Looks like a couple fires, actually. Canada smoke field big time. Yeah, it is. Yeah, though there is quite a bit of smoke, actually. Also in the west here, too. Which we do have those red flag warnings out there in place. It's good that we have those, though. Like Northern California has them, too. Got some red flag warnings here. What's this? Oh, interesting. Even a little bit of, like, Southern Oregon, too. Which, let me bring up the SAT over there. I don't know if we have any actual fires going on out here. That's all convection. That's all storm activity you can see popping through. I don't see any wildfires. Let me zoom out a little bit here. Maybe that'll help. Let's do this view here. Yeah, I don't see really any wildfires going on. I mean, that might be a little bit of smoke over here, like in western Oregon. But yeah, all that's convection up in northern California. That's actually storm activity. Let me bring up radar here. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's quite a bit of rain out here. That'll hopefully wet everything. Get everything wet so that it'll prevent wildfires. Those expire here in 3 hours, though, so that's good. Those won't be there too much longer. Gusts around 40 to 60 miles an hour possible, though, from thunderstorms. Yeah, that is true. Those gust fronts can actually, create some pretty strong winds. Those outflow boundaries, and could really maybe spark up some fires and stuff. Cheryl says, my friend is in Alpena, Michigan. Says there is smoke where she lives from Canada. Yeah, though. Michigan and really the Great Lakes in general is really getting hit pretty hard by those, all that smoke from the wildfires here. Like we were just looking at here. I mean, I can show you guys Michigan again. Let's actually bring up the main state of Michigan here. You can see it's kind of hard to tell which is which. So basically, you see the lighter stuff here. This is all clouds, and then this is all smoke. So smoke's obviously a little bit more like tan than clouds are, mostly white. So it's a little tricky, a little bit tricky. Let's see here. Ben says, I think the craziest thing with Milton was just how fast it intensified. Oh yeah, no, Milton was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I mean, yeah, it picked up. I think we had 180 mile an hour winds. I think we looked at that yesterday. Had sustained maximum at 180 miles an hour winds. Now, Milton was a beast. It broke some records. I think it was one of the strongest hurricanes in the Gulf ever. Let's see here. Michael says, I live in Colorado, and I've seen smoke actually touch the ground from wildfires that are 100 miles away. It makes it hard to breathe. I bet. You probably need respirators and stuff, don't you? Yeah, you don't really want to breathe that stuff in either. Recommend that you stay inside for all that stuff. Yeah, but thankfully the wildfire conditions aren't super crazy. Thankfully, they're going to be kind of dwindling down. I mean, tomorrow we have that threat here that still persists for western Colorado and then Utah. But Currently, SPC doesn't have anything past tomorrow for wildfire activity, so that's certainly good. Certainly good. Absolutely. Here, y'all, we're going to hop over to the models here again. I want to look at severe weather here. We're going to look at tonight's concern here. Let me actually turn on my AC here. It's actually a little bit hot. 77 in my room right now. Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier when we were looking at the models, you know, some storms will continue overnight here. I mean, fairly late. This shows like midnight central time. Oh, maybe I should switch the scene so you guys can see it. But, yeah, we work our way down in time. You can see this is like 05 UTC, which that would be 1 a.m. Eastern, I believe, which would be midnight central or local here to the northern plains. And, you know, a couple storms could definitely roll through. Now, remember, we still do have that 2% tornado risk out here, you know, for tonight across a lot of the state here or actually most of the state here of North Dakota, as you can see here in the green, and also a little bit of northwestern Minnesota here too. So, you know, I hate to mention it, but maybe an isolated tornado or two could be quite possible tonight overall. It does look like we do have a little bit of a lower level jet, about 35 knots to the northeast here. From the southwest to the northeast, mid-level flow here is very weak, going easterly though, about 20 knots. So winds are actually weaker in the mid-atmosphere than they are in the lower atmosphere here. Yeah, I mean, our 850 millibar height, that's about 5,000 feet or so. And those winds are going northeast at 35 knots, which that's about 40 miles an hour or so. And then, of course, like I said, our mid-level atmosphere is like 20,000 feet. It's like 20 knots, which is like 25, 30 miles an hour, which that's kind of weak for mid-levels. It's weaker than it actually is in the lower levels, which is kind of crazy. See, instability. There's a lot of fuel, though. I will tell you that. Look at that. A lot of instability. I mean, we're over 4,000 joules per kilogram of instability. That is quite a lot of fuel. That is quite a bit of activity. Sheesh. Let's take our dew points here. Dew points are in the mid-lower 70s. Typical this time of the year, but that is definitely quite toasty. Humidity is probably going to go pretty high tonight. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be breaking up into the 90s. Yeah, I mean, whenever you have dew points in your, 70s and, temperatures pretty close to that, it's pretty muggy. That's for sure. Cheryl says, I wish it was 77 degrees outside for the high. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's been very hot lately for a lot of us. It's been super, super hot. Roadster says, I agree, Michael. I'm in Seattle. Definitely could see smoke issues depending on the wind direction. Yeah, smoke is a big issue. Absolutely. And there's a lot of people that are sensitive to the smoke, too, so that's why it's very important that we look over those areas. Absolutely. Surprisingly, helicity tonight's quite high. 0 to 3 kilometer helicity, we're at about 300 or so. Let's look at storms. Storms will be mostly, okay, so that storms could be a little bit of a cluster rolling through. This is at midnight central. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a spin-up tornado tonight. We'll have to see what happens. And then, of course, tomorrow they're going to have another round here, too. Got more storms rolling through. Very fun. Very fun. Actually looks like pretty late Sunday. Definitely could get some more convection, maybe. Here, let's bring you guys back over here to tomorrow's threat here. Tomorrow's threat for severe weather. So we do have that slight risk here, or sorry, that marginal risk tomorrow. Even a little bit of the Ohio Valley, we need to be weather aware. So the areas in a dark green here, these are areas that are at risk for severe weather tomorrow, being Saturday. So we got a little bit of Ohio here, southern Michigan, central northern Indiana, central northern Illinois, eastern Iowa here included as well, northern Virginia, the entire state of Maryland. Same thing for the entire state of Delaware too, but Delaware is a pretty small state. See, I'm pushing for fall weather. Texas doesn't get much fall weather. I'm assuming it's pretty similar to Florida in a way, like coastal Texas especially. Because we got a lot of that Gulf moisture that comes through. Yeah, pretty much. So I know for Florida, we have 4 seasons like everybody else. We have summer, 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 spring. And just FYI, our winter is springtime, basically. So y'all's winter is our spring. I mean, it doesn't really get any below. We don't really see it go below freezing here. I mean, I've been in Florida the last 3 winters. I was here the winter of 22, 23, and 24. And out of all of those years, I think I only seen it drop below freezing like once or twice. And I think it got down to 28. I think 28. And that was here in Central Florida, here by Lakeland. Let's see here. That's the Midwest. Indiana's the Midwest. You consider Indiana the Midwest? It's really different for everybody. I've noticed. A lot of people consider it different. So for me, I consider Indiana part of the Ohio Valley. I consider Illinois part of the Midwest. I consider Minnesota upper Midwest. North South Dakota is the Northern Plains. Nebraska, Kansas, Central Plains. Oklahoma, Texas, Southern Plains. And then this is the Southeast here. The Mid-Atlantic I consider North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. Then the Northeast starts with New Jersey and New York goes up. And like I said, it's different for everybody, though. I've seen people say otherwise. Shell says, I thought it was flooding in California. Well, I mean, we do have a little flood advisory. We've got a couple of them up here in northern California. Got a little bit of flooding going on. Yeah, we do got some convection going on up here in northern California. January, February is perfect in Florida. It's pretty nice. It can be a little chilly, though. Absolutely. Michael, coming in with another 5, dude. Thank you so much, man. That's greatly appreciated. Y'all in chat, please give Michael a thank you. Michael says, anyone in the path of hurricanes, be prepared. They can drop tornadoes without warning. Most are weak, but can reach strength of EF3, EF4. Yeah, that is correct. And most of the tornadic activity, or the tornadic activity, is on the right-hand side of a tropical cyclone. That's where the mixing layer is. That's where you have all of the ingredients together for tornadic activity. But absolutely, Michael, really, dude, thank you for the 5, man. I really appreciate that. And yeah, we do want you guys to be weather aware and prepared for the tropics this season, of course. Like I mentioned, it's it's upon us. We definitely got to be prepped. Let's see here. Emmanuel says, I do because I've grown up here. No one calls Central Indiana, calls it the Ohio Valley. I got you. See, I'm not from Indiana, so I'm not sure. I used to live in Kentucky, but I never lived in Indiana. But yeah, like I said, it's different for everybody. I've seen people call it the Ohio Valley like I do. I've seen people call it the Midwest. It's a little different. I don't think there is any exact area that's made for those regions. Let's see. Colorado had flooding in Greeneth Sand Dunes National Park a few days ago. Yikes. Yeah, especially some of those dry areas when you get a lot of precipitation, it'll really cause some flooding. Speaking of flooding, we do have a bit of flooding concern up here right now going on here across Lake Missouri. You can see we do have a lot of flood warnings and stuff in effect here. A lot of rain has already fallen, but we do have a lot of central eastern Kansas here in those flood watches here in the dark green polygons, and the light green are flood warnings. We got a lot of central eastern Kansas, northern Missouri, southern Iowa, northern Illinois, a single county in extreme northwestern Indiana. Great sand dunes. Oh, okay. Gotcha. But yeah, so just a heads up to my folks out here. These will be expiring here in about. They really range for Kansas. Most of these expire in 3 hours. For northern Missouri, these mostly expire in 6 hours. Southern Iowa, between 14 hours to tomorrow, and then tomorrow for northern Illinois and stuff. So, what's up, Joseph? Welcome, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you here. Yeah, out by St. Louis, we still have a lot of these extreme heat warnings, which, look at that. That expires in 4 days, dude. 4 days. Manual says it's very different, but there is an exact area for the Ohio Valley. It goes into the southern Tennessee, so I hate the term as much as I hate Ohio. What you got against Ohio, man? That's pretty funny. But yeah, no, St. Louis area, though, we got 4 days, dude. 4 days of this. Heat index values up to 113 out there. 113 degrees. Let's see. Heat-related illnesses. Yeah, so that is definitely a big concern. So just make sure, if you guys are in these heat advisories, in these, extreme heat warnings and stuff, that you're staying hydrated, drinking plenty of water, taking many frequent breaks, just staying cool. Because, yeah, it's pretty rough. We do have a lot of those areas up here, too, in the northern plains up here by North South Dakota, out there by Minnesota here. We do have a lot of heat advisories in effect, and some throughout the Midwest. And, lingering into the plains in the southeast here, too, up across, the coastal southeast as well. North and South Carolina coast really does have some extreme heat warnings here, too. Upwards of 113 as well. Yeah. It's a little rough, man. Here, let me bring up the map here. I'm going to bring up the RTMA analysis here. We're going to see what we were at today, heat index-wise. Yikes, dude. Here, y'all. This was today. I'll bring you guys over here. So this was today's heat index value. This was at 22 UTC, so that would be 6 p.m. Eastern, I believe. So 5 Central, and so on. But yeah, you can see that these are the heat index values here. These were well over 100 degrees, 110 up by Arkansas, same thing by St. Louis. Shoot, even in Florida, up by Tampa, we were at 109. Yeah, a lot of the Mid-Atlantic, too, we had quite a bit. We did have some storm activity that made it a little bit cooler up in Northern Virginia. My dad was telling me about that. He had some storms out here earlier. I mean, yesterday was really bad, too. It's just brutal. Absolutely brutal. And, conditions don't seem to get much better anytime soon for some areas, Emmanuel says Ohio is the Florida of the Midwest. And I know you're down there right now, but I'd never live in Florida. I don't know if I should be laughing or offended at that. Yeah, I've never been to Ohio, actually. I've been to Kentucky, I've been to Indiana, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. I've been literally around Ohio, but I've never been in Ohio. 113 sounds like Texas weather, but not yet hit. It has not hit 100 yet. Kind of weird. Really? It hasn't hit 100 for you guys? Shoot. I think the max here so far is 102 where I'm at. SPC says I heard it's going to be nearly 120 heat index something in South Carolina soon. Whoa. That's here. Let me bring you guys back over here real quickly. Let me bring up the models. We're going to look at the HRRR. 0 UTC. We're going to pull up a heat index here. Thermos. I don't think... Oh, yeah, there is no heat index for this model. Or, sorry, for this site. Maybe COD has it? The surface. We got humidity, dew point. Yeah. Shoot. Well, I can look at temperatures at least. We'll just... Yeah. We'll definitely look at that. Here, let's hop you guys down over here. Pull up thermos, and we'll do 2 meter temperature shaded here. So this is not heat index. This is just normal temperatures out there. So today's the 25th. Going into tomorrow. Hottest time of the day is like 3, 4 o'clock, typically. So, yeah, you can see we definitely could pick up. This is normal temperatures, by the way. You know, upwards of 100 in South Dakota. Got a little bit of areas out here by like North, South Carolina. Could definitely break up towards 100, maybe towards the central southern plains. Ohio Valley is probably going to be mostly in the 90s here. Northeast, very much ranges, 80s, maybe 90s. Remember, that's actual temperature, though. Actual temperature. Look at all that convection down south. Really cooling down those temperatures. You see that? See how much those storms cool everything down? It's crazy. Sometimes it cools it down like 20, 30 degrees. Which is kind of nuts. Yeah, and then you got those upper elevations like in Colorado here that's getting down into the, like in the lower 50s. During the daytime, they're getting like lower 70s. USA is heating up for sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty brutal. And like I mentioned, it doesn't look like it's really going to be relieving anytime soon. Here's GFS here. Yeah, GFS going into 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't really look like it's going to be ending anytime soon, unfortunately. GFS kind of shows maybe a little cooler wave coming through, maybe early next month. But let's see, is that a trend or is that just a model? Yeah, I mean, previous run of GFS shows it too. Still kind of keeps the heat down south though. See, I'm sure August will be our month for 100-degree temps. I'll freak out if it doesn't hit 100 degrees in the summer. Yeah, no, August is a very hot month. August, I'm pretty sure August is the most hottest month. July is pretty hot too, which we're in now. July, August, I think are the main hottest months. But yeah, no, August is, it can be brutal. That's for sure. Here, let's bring you guys back over here. Let's see, what haven't we talked about? I mean, we've basically talked about everything. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect now. We got, like I said, a little bit of isolated convection up here in North Dakota tonight. So, you know, once again, I wouldn't rule out potential for maybe an isolated tornado or two. Possibly some gusty winds, a little bit of hail. We do have those 15% risk here tonight. So, let's see. Roadster says 63 now in Seattle. We'll get in the low 50s tonight. Nice. See, low 60s is fine. Low 50s is no thanks. You know, for us having a low of 63, that would be pretty nice. Let's see where it's at right here. So here in Lakeland, it is it is 78 right now. It's dew point of 76 currently. Humidity is 92%. What about monsoon season for the West? Any area of concern? You know, to be honest with you, I like keeping. See, I don't like climatology as much as I like meteorology, so I don't like to go too far down in time. I typically keep it, you know, within a week or so. But one thing I can do for you is I can bring up some of the CFS model data here. We'll do precipitation anomalies here. Let's look at the CFS. This is climate. This is for per month here. So we go our way here into, depends on what month you want to look at. So this is August. According to CFS, here, we do have a bit of dry conditions out west here, it looks like. Southeast, maybe a little bit more precipitation filled, maybe some of the plains, Midwest. Then we work our way over here into September. It seems like things could dry out quite a bit, according to at least what CFS suggests here. Up by the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, Southeast too. Then we work right into November, December here. Yeah. I don't really see a whole lot. It seems like a lot of precipitation is going to be below average here. Pacific Northwest might get some more activity as the year progresses. Like October, November, CFS shows a bit of precip up in the Pacific Northwest. More above average, I should say. So the way that this works here is that the last 12 runs is what it averages out. Let's see here. No fireflies in the Pacific Northwest. Too cold for this critters. You guys don't get them up there? Really? I mean, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, it doesn't get as hot up there for you guys as it does in the Southeast. Or really any other, mostly any other area in the country. Let's see. New Hampshire heat index 100. Need an East Coast heat moving hurricane. Yeah, we don't need a hurricane, but we don't need any heat either. Hopefully, we'll have a cool down soon. You know. I hope so. According to CFS, looks like once we hit September, could be quite hot for the Central Plains, maybe above normal. That's very interesting. Anyways, that's enough of that. Like I mentioned, I like more meteorology more than climatology. You know, climatology is the weather over time, and meteorology is the weather, you know, basically now or in near future. Is there a La Nina still around? I believe it's neutral right now. Yeah, let's see. Let me bring that up for you. Yeah, I believe we're in neutral status. Well, current value has us in negative 0.5, which is cooler, but I think it has to be consecutive for like 3 months to be below negative 0.5 for it to be classified as La Nina. But we've been kind of in neutral status here lately. So not El Nino, not La Nina, kind of in between. So it's basically like negative 0.5 to 0.5 is the range in which neutral status is. So basically between here and here, the last few days though have gotten a bit cooler out by the equator. Which, as you may or may not know, a cooler Pacific can actually make it to where we have a little bit more of an active hurricane season in the Atlantic, because it weakens those trade winds and stuff like that. Brady says, I'm hoping above average temperatures through the end of the year. See a nice warm November, December, please. Yeah. That we'll have to see what happens. All right, everybody. Well, if y'all want to do some zip codes, if you want me to, I can pull up your zip code. I could look at your current active warnings or watches, whatever you got going on for you, and I'll look at the next few days of weather for you if you want me to. If not, we're probably gonna roll off here. We've been live a little over an hour today. A little bit longer of a stream tonight, though. Yeah, we had quite a few things to talk about tonight, I guess. But yeah, I just hope it calms down. Temperature-wise here, it's too hot for a lot of us. It's just miserable, man. Sucks. But hopefully GFS is right in showing maybe some relief coming up for you guys up north, anyways. So Michael, we already went over your fire weather earlier, so you're not in any form of like wildfire conditions or anything like that. So Michael, you're good on fire weather. Let's see here. All right, so you're up here by Denver. So today or tonight we still have a level 1 risk out by Denver. Let's see. Tomorrow we are in the thunderstorm risk. So no severe weather tomorrow. And then day 3 on Sunday, it looks like we're pretty clear overall. But yeah, tonight we still have that level 1 threat here for severe weather. No tornadoes, little wind risk, a little hail risk too. Let me look at the radar now. Oh, look at that. We got a nice little storm with a nice outflow boundary going on it. But it seems like Denver's pretty clear right now. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the storms tonight are going to be very isolated, very discreet. But yeah, honestly, you're looking pretty good, Michael. I don't really see too much big stuff going on for you. Absolutely, Roadster. You too, my friend. Let's see. Need more than 20 drops of rain in New Hampshire like we got today. Yeah, I feel that. We didn't get much rain here either today in Central Florida. A lot of South Lakeland apparently got a lot of rain, but where I'm at, Lakeland, we didn't hardly get any. We got a little bit of precip, but yeah, but we're kind of similar. We got like 20 drops, maybe 21 drops, but. See here, Cheryl says, I already don't mind some rain and hot. Yep, that about sums up Texas. Absolutely. Yeah, Texas, though, doesn't have any severe weather going on. Just normal thunderstorm risks overall. Heat advisories go through Dallas, Fort Worth area here. Up in north central Texas. Heat index values up to 108. Still pretty toasty. Not as toasty as some other areas like St. Louis or Carolinas. Yeah, they're getting like 113 or greater some areas. Just a little bit rough. But anyways, folks, we'll, like I mentioned, we're going to keep an eye on the tropics, too. We'll see what happens with that system. Like I said, we do have a wave rolling off Africa here. It'll be rolling off right on the 28th into the waters. That's still, multiple days of tracking this before it even goes in the water. So we'll see what happens with it. It is an area we do need to monitor. No reason for worries or panic right now. Definitely no reason for panic. But like I said, we'll just keep it on the tropics. We'll see what happens. I mean, like I mentioned, we are going to start climbing up the ladder here very, very soon, in which, once we go into August, that's when we start really climbing up the ladder, in which, we'll be heading into that time soon. But, all right, everybody. Well, I guess we're going to roll off for now. I just want to say thank you all for joining. Huge shout out goes out to Roadster Jim and Michael today for the donations. I really appreciate you guys. Y'all really do help keep us afloat, and I just want to say thank you for the donations. It's greatly appreciated. I want to say thank you to everybody who joined us today. I really appreciate y'all. And, if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button, leaving a like, and if you guys could, consider sharing this channel with a friend or a family member. Help spread awareness. It would be greatly appreciated. Now, on the table tomorrow, I do plan on doing our typical daily routine, posting a short whenever I get up or sometime soon after I get up. So we'll do YouTube short, we'll do a normal video, and then we'll do our live streaming tomorrow night also. Probably right around 9, maybe 10 o'clock. I'm not sure exactly. Tonight we did 10. I was going to do 9, but I got a little bit caught behind and stuff. But alrighty, everybody. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you all for joining. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. The stream is going to roll off here in approximately 1 minute, so go ahead and say goodbye to your friends, your family, anybody you're hanging out with in the chat. And thank you all once again for joining. Roadster Jim, Michael, once again, guys, thank you so much for your support, y'all. You guys are greatly, greatly appreciated. Thanks for the donations. You guys rock. But all right, everybody. Thank you all for joining. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out, my friends. Catch y'all later on.